Welcome back to our channel US Coin 69, the place where we uncover hidden treasures in your coin collection. Have you ever wondered if that old coins could be worth thousands or even millions? Well, today's your lucky day. We're diving into some of the rarest and most valuable US coins that might be sitting right under your nose. Let's jump in and see if you've got a fortune waiting to be discovered. Top 1. The year was 1974. America was in the midst of an era defined by political change, economic shifts, and cultural transformation. The Vietnam War was drawing to a close. The Watergate scandal was unraveling at the highest levels of government, and inflation was beginning to take hold of the economy. Amidst all these changes, a simple yet iconic piece of American currency was quietly making its way into circulation. The 1974 Washington quarter. For millions of Americans, this quarter was nothing more than a common coin, a piece of everyday change that could buy a newspaper, a cup of coffee, or a phone call at a payphone. But little did they know that among these quarters, a rare and extraordinary specimen would emerge, one so perfect, so unique, and so valuable that it would one day command a staggering $88,000 at auction. But to understand the story of this incredible coin, we must first go back to the origins of the Washington quarter itself. Introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the quarter was originally intended to be a one-year commemorative issue. However, due to its overwhelming popularity, it became a permanent fixture in American coinage. Designed by John Flanagan, the obverse featured the left-facing portrait of Washington, a dignified and timeless image that has endured for nearly a century. The reverse of the quarter, unchanged from its original design, depicted a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, clutching a bundle of arrows in its talons. Below, an olive branch symbolized peace, while above, the inscriptions United States of America and E Pluribus Unum reinforced the nation's unity. The design was simple yet powerful, a testament to American ideals. By the time 1974 arrived, the Washington quarter had already seen several changes, most notably the removal of silver from its composition in 1965. The 1974 quarter was struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition, a cost-saving measure taken by the U.S. Mint in response to rising silver prices. Despite this, the coin maintained its classic design, continuing to serve as a staple of American commerce. The 1974 Washington quarter was produced at three different mint facilities: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D; and San Francisco, S. The San Francisco Mint primarily struck proof versions, while the Philadelphia and Denver mints produced coins for general circulation. As with any mass-produced coin, not all quarters were created equal. Variations in die strikes, planchet quality, and minting errors resulted in some quarters being more valuable than others. Among the most sought-after varieties is the 1974 D double die obverse DDO quarter, where doubling is visible on the inscriptions and Washington's profile. These error coins are rare and can fetch thousands of dollars depending on their condition. However, even beyond error coins, the highest-graded specimens of the 1974 quarter hold immense value. The key to a coin's worth lies in its grade. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale, with MS, mint state, 60 and above being considered uncirculated. The elusive MS, 67, MS, 68, or higher grades are nearly impossible to find in circulation, as even the slightest nick or imperfection can lower the grade. When a 1974 Washington quarter in an unheard-of perfect MS, 69 condition surfaced at auction, it sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. This particular coin was a marvel, flawless in every way, its surfaces untouched by time. The luster was radiant, the details razor-sharp, and the strike perfectly executed. It was a once-in-a-lifetime find, and when it went up for bidding, collectors and investors alike knew they were witnessing history. The bidding war was intense. Enthusiasts from around the world vied for the chance to own this unparalleled specimen. As the price climbed higher and higher, the excitement reached a fever pitch. Then, in a moment of sheer disbelief, the final bid was placed, $88,000. This sale cemented the 1974 Washington quarter's place among the most valuable modern coins ever sold. It was a reminder that hidden treasures still exist, waiting to be discovered. Could there be another perfect specimen out there, tucked away in an old coin roll, sitting unnoticed in a collection, or hiding in plain sight among pocket change? For those passionate about numismatics, the thrill lies in the hunt. The 1974 Washington quarter serves as a testament to the idea that even the most ordinary coins can hold extraordinary value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a casual enthusiast, this story is proof that history, rarity, and condition can transform a humble quarter into an $88,000 treasure. Top 2. The year was 1983. America was in the middle of a transformative decade, one defined by economic recovery, technological advancements, and cultural shifts that would shape the future. The Cold War was still in full force. President Ronald Reagan was leading the country through a period of renewed patriotism, and the nation was seeing the rise of personal computers and video games. Amidst all these changes, a small yet powerful artifact of American history was quietly making its way into the hands of millions: the 1983 Washington quarter. For most people, it was just another coin, a simple piece of pocket change to buy a soda, make a phone call, or feed a parking meter. But what if I told you that hidden among these quarters was a rare gem? A pristine, near-flawless specimen that would one day take the numismatic world by storm, selling for an unbelievable $72,000. To fully appreciate the rarity and value of the 1983 Washington quarter, we must first understand its origins. The Washington quarter had been a staple of American coinage since its debut in 1932, designed to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Created by sculptor John Flanagan, the obverse of the coin featured a left-facing portrait of Washington, a timeless design that had remained virtually unchanged for over 50 years. The reverse of the coin showcased the familiar heraldic eagle, its wings outstretched, clutching a bundle of arrows, a symbol of strength and defense. Below, an olive branch represented peace, while the inscriptions United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, and quarter dollar completed the classic design. At BY 1983, the U.S. Mint was producing quarters in large quantities at the Philadelphia, No Mint Mark, and Denver, D, facilities, with proof versions struck at the San Francisco, S Mint. However, this year held a unique distinction. There were no official mint sets released to collectors. Unlike most years, when the Mint issued special sets containing pristine, uncirculated coins, 1983 saw no such release, making high-quality quarters from this year exceptionally difficult to find. This lack of mint sets meant that most 1983 quarters entered circulation immediately, subject to the wear and tear of everyday use. Finding an uncirculated specimen became a significant challenge for collectors in later years, and even more so for those looking for a coin in the highest grades. Over time, as collectors realized the scarcity of premium quality 1983 quarters, their value began to rise. Coins that had been handled sparingly and stored properly commanded high premiums. The true jackpot, however, came when one of the finest known 1983 quarters appeared on the auction block. This particular coin was a numismatic marvel, graded at an extraordinary MS 68, a nearly flawless condition almost unheard of for this issue. Its luster was immaculate, its details razor-sharp, and its surfaces untouched by the usual nicks and scratches that plague circulated quarters. It was, in every sense, a perfect example of what a 1983 Washington quarter was meant to look like when it left the mint. When the auction began, excitement rippled through the numismatic community. Collectors, investors, and enthusiasts all knew they were witnessing something special. The bidding escalated quickly: $10,000, $20,000, then $50,000. And just when it seemed like the final bid had been placed, one determined collector pushed the price even higher. When the hammer finally fell, the record-breaking price stood at an astonishing $72,000. That what made this particular quarter so valuable? The answer lies in a combination of factors: rarity, condition, and demand. Because no mint sets were issued in 1983, finding an uncirculated specimen was already a challenge. Finding one in such pristine condition was nearly impossible. As a result, collectors were willing to pay a premium for the finest example in existence. Imagine the thrill of discovering one of these rare quarters today. A simple piece of change, overlooked for decades, revealed to be a hidden treasure worth thousands. It's stories like these that make coin collecting so exciting. The knowledge that history and fortune can sometimes be found in the most unexpected places. The 1983 Washington quarter remains one of the most sought-after modern quarters in American numismatics. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this coin serves as a reminder that even the most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary value. And for those lucky enough to own one of the finest specimens, they possess not just a coin, but a true treasure, one worth $72,000. Top 3. The year was 1986. The world was in the midst of transformation. New technology, global political shifts, and cultural revolutions defined this era. Ronald Reagan was serving his second term as President of the United States. The Cold War was still ongoing, and America was advancing toward an age of rapid innovation. The Challenger space shuttle disaster left a lasting impact on the nation, while pop culture icons like Madonna, Michael Jackson, and Top Gun dominated the entertainment scene. Amidst all this, in pockets, cash registers, and vending machines across the country, a small yet significant coin was quietly passing from hand to hand, the 1986 Washington quarter. At first glance, it was just another everyday piece of change, unremarkable in its design and purpose. But among the millions of these quarters produced, a few rare specimens would one day rise to legendary status, capturing the attention of collectors worldwide. One of these coins, in an astonishingly pristine condition, would go on to sell for an unbelievable $65,000, an amount that no one in 1986 could have imagined a simple quarter fetching decades later. How did such an ordinary coin become so incredibly valuable? What makes it so special? And could there still be another undiscovered gem out there, waiting to be found? To understand the significance of the 1986 Washington quarter, we must first explore the history behind this long-standing American coin series. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932, designed by renowned sculptor John Flanagan to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Originally intended as a one-year commemorative issue, its popularity ensured that it became a permanent fixture in U.S. coinage. For decades, the quarter's design remained largely unchanged, Washington's stoic profile on the obverse, with the majestic heraldic eagle adorning the reverse. However, the composition of the coin saw a major shift in 1965 when silver was removed due to rising metal prices. From then on, the Washington quarter was minted in a copper-nickel-clad composition, making it more affordable for mass production. The 1986 Washington quarter was struck at 3 different U.S. mint facilities: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D; and San Francisco, S. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced business strike quarters for everyday use, while the San Francisco Mint issued proof quarters exclusively for collectors. While these proof quarters were specially made with polished dies and planchets, it was the regular circulation quarters that would later become the subject of intense interest among collectors. As with all coins, the quality of the strike varied based on the condition of the dies and the minting process. While millions of 1986 quarters entered circulation, very few survived in pristine, high-grade condition. Over time, most coins suffered the inevitable fate of scratches, wear, and damage. But a select few managed to avoid these perils, remaining in near-perfect mint state condition. The rarity of such high-grade 1986 quarters became evident in the early 21st century when collectors realized how difficult it was to find an example graded at MS 68 or higher. These quarters, with their flawless surfaces and impeccable luster, stood out among the rest. Then, in a stunning moment in numismatic history, one of the finest known 1986 quarters was put up for auction. It was graded an unbelievable MS 69, a level of perfection that seemed almost unattainable for a clad quarter of this era. The bidding war was fierce. Collectors and investors recognized the sheer rarity of this coin, an everyday piece of change transformed into a numismatic masterpiece. As the bid soared higher and higher, the final hammer price shocked everyone: $65,000. This extraordinary sale proved that even modern quarters could reach astonishing values under the right conditions. It served as a reminder that rarity, condition, and demand could elevate even the most unassuming coin to legendary status. For collectors today, the 1986 Washington quarter represents both a challenge and an opportunity. Finding a high-grade specimen is no easy task, but for those lucky enough to uncover one, the rewards can be immense. Perhaps hidden away in an old coin roll, a forgotten collection, or even in everyday pocket change. Another record-breaking 1986 quarter is still waiting to be discovered. Top 4. The year was 1979. America stood at the crossroads of change. It was the final year of a turbulent decade that had witnessed everything from the Vietnam War and the Watergate scandal to economic struggles and technological breakthroughs. Jimmy Carter was serving as president, inflation was running high, and the nation was grappling with an energy crisis. On the cultural front, disco fever was at its peak, and the first ever Sony Walkman had just been released, revolutionizing the way people listened to music. Amidst all these changes, a small yet enduring piece of American history was being produced in the U.S. Mint facilities, the 1979 Washington Quarter. It was a coin that millions of Americans carried in their pockets daily, unaware that among them, a few rare specimens would one day become some of the most valuable quarters in modern numismatic history. Today, the 1979 Washington Quarter is more than just a coin. It's a legend. One exceptionally rare specimen in pristine condition sold at auction for an astonishing $83,000. But what made this particular quarter so valuable? What hidden details transformed it from common pocket change into a collector's dream? To answer these questions, we must first understand the legacy of the Washington Quarter series. Originally introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the quarter featured the iconic left-facing profile of the first U.S. president, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. Its reverse showcased the majestic heraldic eagle, clutching arrows in its talons, a symbol of strength and readiness for war, while an olive branch beneath it represented the nation's pursuit of peace. For decades, this design remained largely unchanged. However, one major shift occurred in 1965, when the rising cost of silver forced the U.S. Mint to transition from a 90% silver composition to a copper-nickel-clad alloy. This change made the quarter more affordable for mass production, but also meant that collectors had to look for other distinguishing factors to determine a coin's rarity. The 1979 Washington Quarter was struck at 3 different mint facilities: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D; and San Francisco, S. While the Philadelphia and Denver mints produced business strike quarters for circulation, the San Francisco Mint struck proof quarters specifically for collectors. Among these, the rarest and most valuable are those that have been preserved in nearly flawless condition or display unique minting errors. One of the most famous and valuable varieties of the 1979 quarter is the ultra-rare, high-grade MS 68 specimen. The rarity of this quarter in such a high grade is what makes it so desirable. Over time, most 1979 quarters suffered from the usual wear and tear, scratches, nicks, and discoloration, making a perfect specimen almost impossible to find. However, a few coins managed to escape circulation and were preserved in pristine condition, catching the attention of collectors decades later at a prestigious numismatic auction. One such flawless 1979 Washington Quarter appeared, graded an astonishing MS 68 by a professional coin grading service. When the auction began, it became immediately clear that this was no ordinary quarter. Collectors from around the world eagerly placed their bids, recognizing the unparalleled rarity of this piece. As the bidding escalated, $10,000, $20,000, then $50,000. Excitement filled the air. Then, in a historic moment, the final bid reached an unbelievable $83,000. The hammer dropped, marking this 1979 quarter as one of the most valuable of its kind. The winning bidder had just acquired a true numismatic treasure, but what made this coin so valuable? Several factors played a role. First, its condition, graded MS 68. Meant it was nearly perfect, a rarity for a coin that had been minted in massive numbers. Second, the demand for high-grade Washington quarters among collectors had surged in recent years, driving prices for top-tier examples to record-breaking levels. Finally, its historical significance and connection to a transitional period in U.S. minting history made it even more desirable. For collectors today, the 1979 Washington Quarter serves as both a lesson and an opportunity. It teaches us that even the most ordinary-looking coins can hold extraordinary value if preserved in exceptional condition. And it reminds us that hidden treasures can still be found in the most unexpected places, perhaps even in your own pocket. Could there be another undiscovered 1979 Washington quarter out there, waiting to break auction records once again? Only time will tell. But for those who continue the hunt, the thrill of the search is just as valuable as the prize itself.